Hey guys, it's Jenny. Welcome back to the Crafting Bookworm. Today I have a review for you. Okay, welcome back guys. Welcome new subscribers. Thank you all for your continued support, whether you're here for books or you're here for crafting. I just really appreciate you guys. So thanks for your continued support of my channel. Okay, so the book that we're reviewing today is Holly by Stephen King. Now this book comes after a long line of books, okay? But don't feel like you have to read the other ones to read this one. It's a completely well-written book as a standalone. But this follows the Bill Hodges trilogy, which starts with Mr. Mercedes, and then the standalone book of The Outsider. And Holly is in both of those books. But in this book, Holly has to stand on her own 2 feet. And she has a detective agency, Finders Keepers, which was in the Mr. Mercedes trilogy. And we have a woman named Penny Dahl, and she comes to Holly to help her find her daughter Bonnie, who ended up missing. They found her bike and an earring, but no helmet or anything. And Penny is at her wit's end. They didn't always get along, you know. They had their fussy fights, you know, between mother and daughter. But she's really, really worried about Bonnie. So she thinks Holly can help her. Holly has some anxiety issues. She smokes because of it. And she keeps saying, God help me quit, but not right now. Because when she's on this case, it's like her cigarettes are her friend. And, well, in this story, you learn in the beginning about Professor Rodney Harris and his wife Emily Harris. They're both professors were professors at a college. And you find out early that these two are the culprits in the story. And I kind of wish we didn't know, and that was something we had to figure out, you know, by the end of the book. But yeah, you know that right up front. What you don't know right up front is their process and what they're really doing. They are aged professors, so nobody would look at them as being bad people, as being, you know, abductors of people or what have you. As you're going along in the story, Holly starts discovering things just kind of piling up. I'm not going to tell you what these things are because I want you to be able to find that out as you're reading the story. But things just pile up and pile up, and she is now coming at her wit's end. She's trying to tie things together and figure out what is going on. And at this time, she doesn't know about Rodney Harris and his wife. We, the readers, already know about Rodney and Emily Harris. And she starts to get to that point, you know, and she's also in that frame of mind of, this is an old couple. You know, they may know something, but I highly doubt they have anything to do with the disappearance of Bonnie. And she keeps that in her mind, but, you know, little things are like tickling her mind and leading her more towards them. But it's kind of a slow discovery, but it's not, if that makes any sense, because there's a lot always going on, so it didn't drag it off for me. The one thing in the story that really bothered me the most was all the politics. It was so political. You know, in the back of my head, I said, well, you know, it is Stephen King. He does get very political in his books. He doesn't care. I just think it's overused because this setting is back when COVID was big. And I think he started it in 21 and then he finished it in 22. And yeah, it just got overwhelming sometimes with the politics. You have to get past that and get to the nitty-gritty of the story, and it does become very enjoyable. There is a lot to try to figure out, and it is fun to watch Holly now as not really a big-time detective, but she's standing on her own 2 feet. You know, she was kind of a protege with, Bill Hodges. And now you see her coming out of her shell, and you see her growing, and you see her really, stepping it up and trying to figure out what is going on, because a lot of stuff is happening. And, and then you got Penny over here trying to figure out, hey, are you going to find out what happened to my daughter? And, a whole lot of different things come into play. Now, she has a couple of friends, their brother and sister, who try to kind of tip the scale in Holly's favor. And then you got Pete, who is her partner, but he is out with COVID, and he is somewhere else in the country. He's not anywhere near here. He would have to get on a plane to get to her, but he's pretty ill with COVID, so she doesn't even really have Pete to back her up on this. So she's having to do everything on her own, and it's really fun to watch her grow like that. After reading this book, it did make me want to go back and read the Bill Hodges trilogy, and then The Outsider, which came after that. But like I said, don't feel like you have to read this or read those to read this one. You can totally read this book as a standalone. You'll just learn a little bits and pieces about Holly in the other books. I do like to read them in order, but it's been a long time since I've read those books, and I just jumped into this one, which is why I said it makes me want to go back and read the other ones. But yeah, it was a really good story. I gave it 4 stars because it was, quite political. But I really enjoyed the story. It wasn't mundane and slow. There was a lot going on, so it really kept your mind whirling and trying to figure out things and figure out who Rodney and Emily Harris really are, and what they're really doing. So yeah, it was fabulous. That was really enjoyable. So if you've read this book, let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts were on this book. If you thought it was over political, if you thought it was just right, just let me know, because I'd be really curious to know, what your guys' thoughts are on that book. But that's really all I have for you guys today. Yep, Holly, Stephen King, 4 stars. Pick it up, try it out. Thanks, guys, for staying tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.